croc hunter, snake hunter, Tabraiz Shamsi, somewhere that way now. This is when I was very, very small, not even sure how old I was. Obviously, I didn't have a choice of what I was wearing that day.
Oh, sure, I don't believe you.
But I think it's a cute photo. Yeah, there's nothing much more that I can say to that. I think my son looks like that now. My wife's not happy about that because she's done all the work to create this baby and then he comes out looking like me. So yeah, I'm not upset about that.
Do you put him in cowboy hats?
Not yet, but I think after this photo, I might have to go buy him one. He looks quite cool. He loves his baseball hats, but I think I'm gonna have to buy him one of these and just make like a side-by-side photo.
What was life like for this kid? Where was life? Was cricket a part of it?
A lot less complicated as it is now. You know, when you're children, there's no worries. You can't wait to grow up. And then you grow up and you realize you're going to play cricket. People will be checking every move you make and analyzing everything you do. So yeah, much simpler times, but really happy, you know, growing up in Joburg. Just really nice. I just remember we used to always play cricket, always play on the street. It used to be like big games of hide and seek at night, you know, once everyone's back from school and everything. The only rule was you weren't allowed to cross into the next block. So you could hide on the whole street. That was the only rule, don't cross onto the next block. And then, yeah, ringing people's bells and running away, you know, just that sort of stuff. Always been a little bit mischievous, but within reason. So yeah, great memories.
Can you tell me about this photo and what's going on?
Haha, this is my first year at the IPL. We had one of those team functions. And of course, like, you know, we're just posing there. We're not doing anything, anything major. But of course, we had to take the opportunity to act like we were the ones doing stuff on the decks. But yeah, Farrell and Mandeep Singh, these are two of the guys that I became really close with. You know, in that RCB team, we're still in touch. Of course, you know, that's what happens. That's the beauty of cricket when you go and play in other parts of the world. You get to meet guys that you would have never met, and you know, you get to be so close to them. Just like we're discussing now, you know, you get to hear the guys' stories, their journeys and stuff. And then you realize, you know, we come from different places, but ultimately for, I suppose, every single cricketer, it's all the same, right? We all come from wherever we come from, and the difficulties and the hardships through your cricket career, and then you make it, and you know, it's that feeling. You know, they say it takes a village to raise a kid. I think it takes a village to raise a cricketer as well, because there's so many people behind the scenes that have had to like do stuff for us behind the scenes, you know, for us to be able to make it. So yeah, really good memories. Yeah, first year of IPL.
It's a long way from garage door in Joburg, hey?
It's very far away, and the thing is, you know, I was a replacement player there, so I just remember fixing up the paving and stuff at my mum's place, and I got a call from David Visa, who was part of RCB, to say, listen, just stay close to your phone, you know, I think you might be coming to join us. So that was insane, you know. 1 minute I'm doing pavings at my mum's place, trying to fix that, and then the very next evening, or maybe that evening as well, just flying out to India. There was a T20 World Cup before that, so I already had an Indian visa because I was a backup player for the Proteas for that. So, you know, they always have visas in place in case there's an injury replacement. So everything just happened so quick. And at that point, I hadn't even played for South Africa yet. So to be able to play in the IPL at that point, you know, it was really insane.
You talk about the village. Who were some of the people in the village that raised you?
Look, of course, it's you know, your family first and foremost, you know, because they are the ones that enable you to be able to play your cricket in order to you know, follow your dreams per se. And my journey was one that, you know, I didn't go through all the age groups, like always getting selected and then straight into the first class team and straight into the A side and straight into international cricket. It was all like, you know, it took a while. And then, of course, once you're on this journey, then wife comes into play and your children and stuff like that. So, you know, it's just it's just crazy that you cannot do this, you know, without the support of your family. So now it's, you know, like my wife is, I try and bring her on tours most of the time. You know, you need somebody that you have, or when she's not on tour, she's taking care of things back home. Those are also part of your life. You know, we play cricket, but there's a whole real part of our life that's off the screens, you know, that needs to be taken care of. So it's not all on us. It's on, you know, our partners, our families that are behind the scenes, taking care of probably 90% of the things while we do the 10% on the field. And like I said, you know, all of us, we come from different countries, different places, but I'm sure if you ask this question to any cricketer, they have the exact same thing. So that's when I realized, you know, we're all the same actually. If you boil it down to the basics, every single person that's here at this tournament has some sort of family members taking care of things that they need to, because we here playing cricket, trying to, you know, make a living and stuff like that. So it's a partnership, joint corporation, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, we're all the same, I suppose, in that way.
What this photo is about, this really intrigues me.
This is when I was still in high school. So my brother, my eldest brother, he's the one that used to love animals. And I remember when I was much younger than this, it was school holidays and I went to work with him because I had nothing else to do. And there was like a reptile convention. So during his lunch break, nearby, so he said, come, let's go have a look and whatever. And he bought this little corn snake. It looks like a straw, you know, that's how thin it is. A small little corn snake. And that was the first snake that he had ever bought. And when he brought it home, my mum was like, this is not happening in my house. So he's like, no, this thing's so small, it's not venomous, whatever. And then obviously, as you can see, it progressed to that level. Then there were spitting cobras and all those things happening as well. So he had, you know, the back room of the house, he had converted into a little display or whatever it is with the different cages. So he loved reptiles and animals and things like that. So that was one of the snakes at our house. Croc hunter, snake hunter, Tabraiz Shamsi, somewhere that way, nah. But that was more my brother, to be honest. So when I was studying, that was the only room in the house that was quiet. So I would go at night. I had a little desk there. And I would take my books and stuff when I was studying for my exams and go sit in that room and study because I needed, you know, quiet. But every now and then I'd just like, you know, look over and see if all of the snakes were still in their cages because my legs are under the table. So yeah, every now and then I'll just like stop my studying just to have a look across to see if all of these bad boys are still in the cage. So it's a great memory to like think of now. I'd forgotten about that. Yeah, it's one of those things. The only things I'm scared of are dogs, very, very scared of dogs. Because when I was younger, I'd walk to mosque and stuff like that, and a couple of times I nearly got bitten by dogs. So that's a childhood memory, even if it's a small little dog and I don't know it. I'm walking around the block and going the other way. So yeah, I can handle snakes, but even small dogs, that's not it. And bees and wasps, because they can sting you. Those guys will only get you in trouble if you put yourself in trouble, you know. So bees and wasps don't ask questions. They just come and say hello in a very nasty way. So yeah, probably those are the only things that I'm scared of.
So python, no problem. Chihuahua, get you out of here.
Big problem. Because they always have a bigger brother on their side. So they let the big boys know that, you know, there's someone here.
Wondering if you can tell me your biggest memory from this day.
Yeah, my international debut. You know, a moment that all cricketers obviously dream about. That's, you know, if you ask anybody, what do you want to do? You want to play for your country, you want to make your debut for your country. So this was my very first game in Guyana. That one I thought was plum, it was given not out. There were quite a few, you know, and being South African playing against Australia, it doesn't get bigger than that. So to be able to be given the opportunity to be, you know, thought of as being able to do the job against a team like Australia, obviously highly respected, highly competitive. So that was a big moment. Yeah, the thing that I can think of is I could have possibly had a fifer on debut, but I ended up with 1 wicket. and the one that was given, I thought was down leg. It was Glenn Maxwell. But I think the umpire just felt compelled to finally give one because every time so that at that point we only had one DRS review before the rules were changed, and even if the ball hit halfway on the stumps, it was still, your review was still taken away. It's not like how it is nowadays where it's umpire's call, you still keep your review, and we only had one. And the thing is, a special memory, so I remember everything in detail. It was Aaron Finch took the review, given not out, and then obviously on umpire's call. And after that, there were so many 3 reds that were just constantly given not out, not out, not out. But we didn't have any reviews left. And yeah, so eventually, the one that I did get, I was just appealing for everything at that point because there were so many reds, 3 reds that were given not out. And yeah, poor Glenn Maxwell, he got given out to one that was probably not out. And that was my first international wicket.
How do you feel about where life in cricket is right now?
Yeah, look, I'm really, really blessed. You know, I would have never ever thought that I would play basically in all the leagues in the world and to play for my country in all 3 formats. You know, at that point, the picture that you've shown me, if I just played 1 game for South Africa, you know, it would have been enough because up until the age of like 15, 16, I was thinking of becoming a professional magician because that's what my hobby was and that's what I really wanted to do. And then only once I really got selected for the provincial under-17 team and then the under-19 team, then only it was like, okay, well, maybe I might have a chance in cricket, you know, as a career. So yeah, where I'm sitting at right now, being able to provide a good life for my family, for those around me, you know, be able to help out people. Unbelievable, you know, I would have never thought that. So, like I said, there's a lot of people that somehow play a part in your journey that you don't even think. So even like school coaches, you know, a coach of mine, Mr. Mitchley, he got me a scholarship to move to a school called Parktown Boys from JP Boys. So that obviously took some load off my family, you know, in that sense, to be able to continue studying in a good school. All those things play a part. My coach, Grant Morgan, who was my first-class cricket coach and my under-19 coach, he's the one that gave me my first chance. 2 nights ago, I met Shane Berger. He's with the Paarl Royals. He was mine and Devon Conway and Quinton de Kock's first-class captain. You know, so it's crazy how all those people that have like played a part in your journey have just brought you to this point. And I would have never thought I'd be sitting here speaking to you in a SA20. And really, like, you know, to be able to live the life that we're living and also be able to help other people, that was unimaginable, you know, when I was 18. So yeah, really happy. And what can I say? Just how I've just been fortunate to be able to play for as long as I have.
If you could go back and talk to the little boy in the cowboy hat, what advice might you give him?
I can't really give him any advice. I think I've been a good person through my life. I'm a bit mischievous, you know, a funny guy and stuff like that. But even at school and stuff, it was never like too far over the line, you know. So I think I've lived my life in a good way. So yeah, no advice. Just whatever I've done so far probably has been the right things. I suppose maybe that's why I got lucky along the way, because in cricket, every single person has to have their break at some point. You know, if not you, it would have been somebody else sitting in this chair. So I'm always very thankful and grateful for the things that happen in your career. Even when I got my first class debut, it was because I wasn't selected for the SA Under-19 team. So the spinner that was playing for the first class team got selected to go to New Zealand to play in the Under-19 World Cup. And that opened a gap for me to make my debut. So I could show what I could do, and then, you know, that kept me in the team, and that's how I made my debut and my career started. For me, getting chosen to play in the CPL for the first time before having played for South Africa is because I wasn't selected for the first class team, and they made an invitational team out of almost like a rejects 11, the guys that were not selected for their first class teams, just to give West Indies a practice game before a test series. And then, you know, I bowled to Marlon Samuels, and he thought like, hey, this boy can bowl. So I was off to the Caribbean before I even had regular game time in domestic cricket. You know, those kind of things. So you dream about playing for South Africa under 19. I got to play first class cricket because I didn't get selected. You know, you dream about playing in a league or overseas. I got to play in the Caribbean Premier League because I was not selected for that first class team at that point. Had I been playing for my domestic team, I would have never been in that game. Again, in that game, I thought I had Marlon Samuels out plumb, like when he was on like 10, given not out because he's a big name, I'm a nobody. But he ended up making a double 100. So he had that time in the middle to face me for that long, to be able to maybe make that, you know, connection in his head like, hey, this boy can play, he can bowl. If he was out and he was sitting in the change room, he would have never thought that of me. So it's like small things like that where, you know, we always want things to happen, and when they don't happen, we're disappointed. But then somewhere down the line, and you know, at the end of day's play, he came in and he said to me, give me your number, I'm going to phone you when we are picking the CPL team. And I didn't think much of it. And then 4 months later, he phoned me and I was off to the Caribbean. So when I made my debut for South Africa, it was in Guyana. I had been there already. I'd played at that ground. I'd done well already. So maybe I wouldn't have had as much of a good debut if it was my very first time there. So I actually felt confident because I'd been there before. I'd played there before. So all of those disappointments turn out into, you know, things that were meant to be, or otherwise I wouldn't be sitting here today. So it's a lesson also to remember, you know, going forward. Every time there's disappointments, you always think like something good will come out of it. You know, that's what we believe. But when it happens to us, it's hard to have that conviction and say, look, something bad's happening now, but something good will come from it. So that's what I try and carry forward. Hi guys, I'm Tabraiz Shamsi, and now I'm a Joburg Super Kings player.